Hello, everybody. Welcome to the LOCUS Golden Hour podcast. This podcast is about sharing stories, advice, tips, and all things surrounding university and student life. If you've been here before, welcome back to season 2. Yay. If not, thanks for tuning in, and we hope that you stick around. So today we'll be talking about what to expect in your first week at university. But first, we'll introduce ourselves a little bit. So Steph, if you'd like to take it away.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Steph. I'm a fourth year music therapy student here on the Waterloo campus. So I'm going to be your Waterloo virtual programming coordinator this year. I've got lots of involvement. I've been with Locus for a year now, and I'm super excited to be back.
Yay! And hello, everybody. My name is Kristina, or Chris. I'm a fourth year health administration student on the Brantford campus. So I'll be the Brantford virtual programming coordinator for Locus this year. I was on the podcast last year, but we're back and revamping it and doing a lot more episodes this year. So yeah, I'm super excited. So I guess we could start with how our first years went and what we kind of wish that we had in our first week or first month or whatever in university.
Yeah. My first month of university, I will admit, was not the best. I moved from my hometown of Sudbury, which is about 5 hours north of Waterloo.
Oh my gosh.
So I completely changed cities in a music program that I had never done before, with zero friends. I knew absolutely no one in Waterloo, and I got put into a residence room with 4 other girls who I had never met. And my parents, I thought I was going to go in big and strong. My parents dropped me off. They helped me set up. They packed their bags. They left. I pretty much broke down after that. I was
Oh,
like, it was so bad. My room looked nice, but it was very much just like a dorm room. It didn't feel like my room. So I think in that first week, I really wish that I had taken the time to be with my parents. I had brought some more things from home that would have helped me, like pictures, things like that. Because yeah, I think I was going back and forth between Sudbury and Waterloo for about a month, just trying to grab more stuff that would make it feel better, because ultimately you are there for 8 months, if not longer. And sometimes you just gotta really set it up and make sure that it feels like home.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of scary if you think about it. I don't know when your birthday was, if you were 17 or 18
I was
moving out.
17.
Oh
I was
gosh. Like,
17.
it's just okay, so some people listening will probably be 17 or 18, whether you move out into residence or you're still living at home, it's still a really big jump from high school to university. So it can be scary. I remember moving into residence too. I had sort of the same thing. I was really excited to be out of my house, have more freedom and whatever. But then that first night feels because I also met my roommates the day I moved in. It felt like a sleepover with strangers. So it was I was like, what am I doing here? I don't know anyone here. Um, so it's scary. So yeah, I'd say also bring stuff from home that make you feel comfortable. Decorate your room, lots of pictures. People have the classic, fairy lights and the Polaroid pictures and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, bring stuff that makes you feel at home, I think is good.
Yeah. I've done 4 years in 4 separate locations. I did residence for 2 years, and then I was in an apartment last year for Locus, and I'm moving into a new one now. I'm also currently in a different location. I'm in Florida. So I'm in Florida working for the Walt Disney Company, but I had to bring everything to decorate my room and to live for 2 months in 2 suitcases on a plane. So
Oh
I
my
get the
gosh.
yeah. So it's kind of difficult sometimes to make it feel like home. Um, I like to think of myself as a maximalist sometimes. I like a lot of really bright colors and a lot of easy decorations. So behind me is a whole bunch of hearts and leaves. These are
I love
sticky
it.
notes. These are sticky notes. That's all they are.
Mhm.
Um, but this has been what's made me super happy because I'm like, yeah, it's super bright. I get to wake up every morning and I know like, it's gonna start the day like really nicely. So you can always like find different things to decorate. It doesn't always have to be photos or things like that. It can also be like going to the poster fair and picking out some
Mhm.
really nice pictures that you like and um, drawing on sticky notes sometimes. Um, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, definitely like moving away and having to create your own room. That's personally your own. But there's some fun ways of doing it, I think.
Mhm. I will also say that it's okay to be homesick. There's no shame in it because I know like some people don't want to admit it because they're like, oh well, I just moved out, whatever. But it's okay to be homesick and don't forget to call your parents because I know I'm guilty of not calling my parents when I'm away at school.
You know how
Um,
my parents made sure that I would call them?
how?
They said they'd pay for my phone plan if I called them once a week.
Ah.
So it's a nice deal. It makes sure that I go and I call them every single week, if not more.
Hmm.
Normally it'll be like, I have a question, and then I'll call them.
Hmm.
Usually it's to cook. I'm a terrible cook. Uh,
We could talk
usually
about cooking too in another episode.
exactly. So normally I will call them if I have like a recipe question, and then like while I'm cooking, I'll keep talking to them just so that
Yeah.
like it passes the time. You know, cooking normally takes like 30 minutes, sometimes an hour for me. Like
Hmm.
I'm not good at time management in that sense. So
Hmm.
it was always really nice to like multitask in that way of like
Hmm.
making sure that I still called home and like felt a sense of like, yeah, like I'm still connected to my parents. I'm not totally off on my own doing my own thing now, but
At the age of 17, gosh. I mean, I just turned 18, like the week before school started, so it was like there wasn't much of a difference. But I will say, like, one thing I'm glad I did have in first year was I was in a, like that phase where I was like, I'm gonna talk to everybody, I'm gonna make so many new friends, like I'm gonna step out of my comfort zone. So I'm glad that I had that sort of attitude going into first year, moving out, because otherwise I'm an anxious person, right? So it's scary, especially like, if you're going into residence or even if you're in Locus and you're off campus and you don't really have that sort of community of people living on the same floor, you kind of have to go out and talk to people. So having that attitude going into your first year, I think is also very important so that you can actually
mhm.
meet people.
Yeah, that's kind of how like my first month went, was because I didn't know anyone. I became really close with my Dawn because I was in residence at the time. Um, and she really like pushed me into like, hey, I think you should look into these opportunities. And she kind of directed me towards the first year leadership program and like house council and everything. So I kind of took a shot in the dark and I said, you know what, I'll put in an application, see what happens. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Um, did the interview, got the positions, and I've kept with FYLP since then. But I think I went from that first month knowing zero to getting stopped pretty much every 10 minutes on campus because I would
Oh,
bump into
popular.
another I would bump into another first year that I knew. That my record was one time I walked from my residence building, which was a little bit off of campus, like it wasn't right in the middle,
Which one did you
all the
live in?
way. I lived in University Place, but the nice one. I lived in 60 UP rather than 50.
Okay. I
So
asked
it was
that don't
like,
even know Waterloo residences.
it's okay.
Just
It's
for the
okay.
listeners.
It was a 47 person building. That was it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was only 47 people. So we all knew each other in the building, and that was it. And we kind of knew like University Place next door. But otherwise, like we we were really in our own spot, like way at the edge of like University Street. Like if anyone's in the Waterloo campus, it's like way down by that like Tim Hortons and Dairy Queen. Um, but I my record was one time I walked from my residence to the Faculty of Music building and I got stopped 5 times by different people that I knew and just like wanted to catch up. It was people in FYLP, it was Dons, it was roommates, it was everyone. So it was kind of a bizarre feeling going from I don't know anyone and no one knows me to now people are stopping me and like I'm having conversations. So now I've started to build in like an extra 5-10 minutes into my walk just in case I happen to bump into someone who is like, hey, and I'm like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? So yeah, definitely valuable to get involved.
Mhm. That's kind of cool. You went from like not knowing people to being stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for listeners in your first week, especially orientation week, we'll have booths set up about different clubs and things like that. So many people will bombard you about joining things. Be like, join this, get involved here, and it can get really overwhelming. But like, because I remember being super overwhelmed, but you gotta take the shot in the dark. You gotta take the leap of faith, and you gotta join. Because I was also in FYLP, so the first year leadership program. And on the Brantford campus, I was in Art Hawks, which is the art council. It's called something else on the Waterloo campus, right?
It's called Arts Council, and
it's
that's
just
what
Arts
I was
Council.
on.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I was on Art Hawks. So basically in FYLP, you plan like events for other first years. And you would meet like once a week. It's not that much of like of a commitment, like especially depending on your role. But it was also my Don who told me to get involved with it. And there is like an interview, but it's like it's a pretty chill interview. They ask you like funny questions like, if a penguin wearing a sombrero walked in the room right now, what's your reaction? Like it's kind of stuff like that. Cause they want people to join. So
Mm.
it's hard to know where to start, and people will ask you to join so many things. You could start somewhere with like FYLP, really good leadership opportunity, and kind of like opens it up to the rest of the things that you can join. If you want to do something a little less official, I guess there's a bunch of different clubs, like student-led clubs. You could check out the student union, also a bunch of stuff to get involved with, even just with LOCUS residents and whatever, like a lot of options. Start with one thing, it'll branch out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It there really is a lot of stuff to do. And I think like the thing is there's no harm in trying it. Like a lot of the clubs, especially in your first week, when you do the get involved fairs, I think what we normally call it at Waterloo. With the get involved fair, people are just there and they'll take your email and they'll send you updates about the club if you want to come join a meeting or something. But you're not stuck to them. Like you've no longer like officially committed yourself to taking on like 30 tasks a week.
Mhm.
You're really just there to meet people and to go to their events and everything. Um, but you can do like a bunch of them. I think in my first week, I think I signed up for probably like 15 or 20 clubs at that fair, and I was getting a whole bunch of emails, and I was like, okay, I want to keep you. Maybe I don't want to be involved with this one, and I kept finding my way. So now I've got a lot going on.
You do
But
have a lot going on.
I do have a lot going on, but I think it works out nicely. Like a lot of people aren't sure where they want to go, and they kind of think of it as like first year residents and locus involvement, students union involvement, or like clubs and associations involvement. But
Oh,
oh, my microphone, did it
oh,
disappear?
yes, you're good now. You're good now. Yeah.
That's so weird. That's interesting. I promise this is not my normal setup. I have a nice, beautiful one at home when I go
Oh,
back.
yes. Steph has a really nice PC setup.
Yeah, yeah. So this is just a temporary thing for the first little bit, but no. So it's not just like separate locations. I think honestly, I've done it where you kind of do like a couple things here and one over here and everything. So putting your foot in a whole bunch of different doors, I guess, really makes sure. I was
Is that the saying? What's the saying?
It's normally like you put your foot in the door, but I was like, there's doors, so maybe like eggs in the basket. Don't put all your eggs in one basket is what I'm going for. Make sure that you explore different opportunities and kind of see like what's the best fit for you. It may be one area specifically, it might be all of them really. So just like checking it all out and making sure that you're not committing yourself right away. So don't be scared to like try stuff and see what you like.
Yeah, like I remember I like auditioned for an a cappella group. Because I was in an like I was in a jazz group in high school. So I was like, I want to continue that in university. I ended up being like a little too busy for it.
Mm.
So like I got in, whatever, but then I was like I wasn't like fully committed to it yet. So it's okay to check things out and be like, sorry, I can't do this anymore because I was in a bunch of other things as well. But at least I went out and I tried, because if I didn't do that audition, then I wouldn't have that as an option at all. Right. But there's like other sort of clubs that exist too, where you can just join in the middle of the year, honestly. Like if you feel like you missed, like if you're listening to this podcast episode like later on past all this hiring and whatever time period, there's still things that you can join in the middle of the year. People want more members to get involved and stuff like that, so you can always take a look at that. It's never too late, but I do recommend checking things out in your first week. It's pretty fun.
Especially like I like that they do it so early on. Like I've heard kind of conflicting things. Some people are like, I wish I would do it later on so that like I had a week or two to settle in, or like a month,
Mhm.
and then I would go and get involved. But I think it's kind of better having it right at the start, because everyone's all the first years especially are all in the same boat. But don't get me wrong, every year is in the same boat where you come in
Mhm.
and you're like, what am I doing this year? Like, I don't know. And everyone's kind of in this like, let me go figure it out at the same time. So yeah, you might run into people at clubs who are trying to get you to join. You might go to that club and meet some great friends. You might also just run into people on campus at that point, because hopefully we're all back, and
Mhm.
you know everyone's a little bit lost. Everyone's still trying to figure out where they're going. um I've met some really great people that way, just by chance happening to bump into them. So definitely like keep your eyes out and see what you can get involved with, and see also who's around you, because you
Mhm.
might find yourself with the same group of people just traveling
Yeah.
together.
And if you're scared and nervous, chances are that everyone else is too. Like it's a big adjustment.
Mm.
And if you need help with navigating, if you're a locus student, that's what your OCA is for. Your OCA is there to help you, like connect you with all these resources, um, be a support system. Your community is a support system too. So if you don't know your locus community or who your OCA is, check that out. You should have an email sent to you, telling you who it is. They have an Instagram page for you to follow. Um, you'll see how you can contact your OCA. Honestly, like if you need anything, if you need help, ask your OCA. It's kind of like, so an OCA stands for an off-campus advisor.
I was
If you
gonna
live
say
in,
we should go
yeah, we
into
should
this
talk
and make
about what it
sure.
is. Yeah. So in residence you would have a Don, right? So they kind of live on your floor. You were a Don, right?
Yeah, I was.
Do you want to explain that and then how it's like an OCA?
Yeah, I always get people who ask like, what is locus? And I go, it's very similar to residence when you kind of break it down. But basically, I like to think of locus as this off-campus community, kind of how you would have a residence community. So everyone's on the same floor, everyone's in the same general area.
Mhm.
And then above that, you have dons in residence, who are upper year students who are there to kind of help you find your way, make sure you are staying on task with school and everything, answer any questions that you might have, making sure that you're like going out and finding things to do. Um, and just in general, making sure that like your experience at Laurier is the best that it can be. And on the same side, we have the off-campus advisors, who play a very similar role as these upper year students who are there to support you. It's kind of like having an upper year friend who like you text every once in a while going, hey, um, how do I register for classes? And they go and they explain it to you. Um, but it's more involved than that. So they're hosting programming for you to make sure that like you're meeting new people, you're getting involved. There's any sort of question that you may have, they probably have the answer to, and if not, they will find someone who will have the answer to it.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just in general a very similar experience, but the same way that I used to tell the residents first years, it is what you make of it. The resources are there and we are there to kind of help you, but you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink, right?
Mhm.
We can't make you use the resources. It's really up to you to like ask for them and make sure that you're getting the help that you need.
Mhm.
So please don't be afraid to like contact your OCA, because believe me, they really want to talk to you. Like
Yeah.
we absolutely adore getting to talk to the students and hearing about their stories and everything and where they come from. So
Mhm.
contact them. They're always there for you. Ooh,
It's kind of,
sir.
ooh,
We
is
got
it
a big
raining?
thunder. No, it's a big
Ooh.
thunderstorm here.
Oh my
we're in,
gosh.
we're in hurricane season, so
Oh yeah. I was like, it's sunny here. You're in Florida. I forgot.
yeah, it is hurricane season here.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
been picking up the last little bit, but it's not too bad. It's just a thunderstorm. So if you hear anything in the background, that's what that is.
You get swept away mid-episode.
Yeah, no, if the roof disappears, don't worry about it. I'll just angle the camera down a little bit and we'll be good. We'll keep going.
But yeah, like I know, because we were both OCAs. So I know it's really rewarding when a student actually messages us back. It's like when we check up on them and they're like, and they actually reply, I'm like, yeah, I got a student to talk to me. So
Mm,
like, yeah, don't be afraid to talk to your OCA, because like I promise you, all of the people on the Locus team were very friendly. There's no stupid questions. We won't judge if you feel like you don't want to ask because you're like, oh, I feel like I should know. Like, there's no stupid questions. So
yeah,
just
I
ask.
think last year, the three main excuses that I kept getting from people were one, I'm working, two, I don't know anyone, and three, I didn't think about it. So like working, I get it, but I think it's a balance that you need to focus on. When people told me that they just didn't know anyone, I was like, well, yeah, no one knows anyone. Like you got to come out so that we can talk to you and introduce you so that you do meet people. And I think that's definitely the scariest one, is like taking that first step of like, I don't know anyone, so I'm going to go to this event totally blind.
Mhm.
But I find a lot with Locus, especially, it's the same people that keep coming back. So you're starting to form that group
Mhm.
of students who really want to be there and who really are looking to make friends or are looking to build those relationships. And you might find that maybe you're in the same classes and whatnot, and then you
Mhm.
keep going as this group, right?
Mhm.
So definitely, if your reason for not coming to an event or not getting involved is you don't know anyone yet, take that first step, because it really does just make a world of difference once you go and you see what happens.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, worst comes to worst, you go to the event, you're not a big fan of it, you can always head out. There's no
Yeah.
requirement to stay there the whole time.
Yeah.
Because that was another thing that I kept hearing, was like, oh, I don't have time to spend an hour or two here. And we kept saying like, hey, you can spend 5 minutes if you want, but
Mhm.
just like take the steps, see what's happening, and then make your decision from there, right?
Yeah.
Better to go and experience it and say, maybe this isn't for me, rather than saying, well, I'm not sure, so I'm just not going to do it anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, just like explore, go out of your comfort zone. I mean, pretty much like everybody in within like the first week in orientation week wants to meet new people. So there are other people that are also going to be trying to go out of their comfort zones. The people will talk, people want to meet people. So just open yourself to those opportunities is like the best thing that you can do. Mhm. And in terms of like programming and events and things, there's also virtual stuff that Steph and I will be running. So like if you want to drop in for like 5 minutes of a game night, or if we have a movie night running, but you can't stay to watch the movie, just still drop by, talk and chat a little bit. We also have a Twitch channel. So if you're into gaming or you like watching streams or not even just gaming, but like we have a bunch of other things that we stream. Um, just come by in the chat. I know there's some people that actually make friends through Twitch chats. So that's also something like there's a lot of opportunities. We have a Discord server. If that's also something you're into, we had it set up last year, but we're hoping to use it more this year. It's all set up and ready to go. So we hope to do events there. Talk in the Discord server, hang out in the voice channel. Like we want to see that server alive. So just like meet people there. I know like so many people that make friendships through Discord. So it's another platform that's not just like in person on campus, especially if you're a commuter and you're not on campus that much. Like you just go for a class and then you have to take the bus home or whatever. There's ways to virtually meet people too. Yeah.
I also think it's a good way of like passing the time. I know last year I spent a lot of time just hanging out in the Discord voice channels, and I'd just sit there and I would type away at an essay, and then someone would pop by and I'd talk to them for a little bit, and then they'd head out and you just keep working. So it was a nice way of like giving myself breaks and still making sure that like I'm staying on task with stuff, but also that I'm not like totally sitting in my room alone, right? It would give me a chance to kind of talk to other people and see how their day's going and what they've been up to.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things to expect in your first week, like nervousness, a lot of meeting a lot of new people, which can cause more anxiety. Like clubs with orientation week, all of those things, but you'll do great. It'll all work out in the end. Like I know Steph and I were we felt like little babies in first year, you know, like with not knowing what to join, like doing a sleepover with strangers on our first night in residence. But look at us now, you know, we've been part of the LOCUS program. We have friends from school.
I hope.
we met each other, like Steph and I met through LOCUS. So it'll all work out in the end. Yeah.
I also thought of one other thing that you should definitely bring during your first week. Bring an extension cord.
Oh yes.
Just like that is my one mistake that I made was my bed in residence was covering like 2 of the outlets, and even my bed now and my last apartment was covering like a whole bunch of the outlets. So I just had like 2 extension cords that I plugged everything into, especially my computer. It was a whole bar just filled with power cords. But yeah, keep that one in mind.
Also a secret snack stash in your room.
That's a smart one. Yes, absolutely. Because it's so much better than having to like get up and go find a snack, just like having it like nearby. Yeah. That's been my one at here in Florida too, is I have a little bowl of Hershey Kisses next to my bed.
I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Just as my late night snack if I ever want one. But with that being said, I think that's all we have for today. So before we head out, we just want to make sure that you take a look around at all the things we talked about today. So make sure to follow us at Locus Laurier on Instagram. Make sure to check out that Discord server. It's going to be very fun. And also make sure to...
Should be linked in the Instagram. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Go join the Discord through the Instagram. And otherwise, just make sure to talk to your OCA, especially while you're still getting ready to move around wherever you might be going for LOCUS. Just make sure to talk to your OCA, see how they're doing that first week, and join them in a couple of events and whatnot. But till then, we will see you next time, and stay golden, everyone.
Bye. Good luck.
Bye.